How's it going, guys? It is Rob, and I'm back with a brand new Top 20 for 2020 video, which was created by Horrific Nightmares JM and Horror Man. Definitely go check out their channels. The topic that was picked was 90s horror. And I had a pretty easy time with this list because there are so many great titles out there. Even though I had to cut a lot of the great ones, it was just kind of impossible to just add everything because you got to pick 20. So I think I'm pretty satisfied with the list I have. So starting in at number 20 is, of course, Army of Darkness. A very fun movie. Out of the Evil Dead movies, the first movie is probably my favorite, but I definitely put this one over Evil Dead 2, for sure. Number 19 is Arachnophobia. This movie made me afraid of spiders, okay? Just like Jaws made me afraid of sharks. But it was directed by Frank Marshall, and you also have Kathleen Kennedy, who produced it. But you also have John Goodman in here. You got Jeff Daniels. This is probably one of my favorite Jeff Daniels movies. Arachnophobia, great movie. Coming in at number 18 is The Dentist. This movie bothers me. What he does to his patients, he like messes up their mouth, and it just, I hate going to the dentist anyway, so this was actually just a painful sit through, but a very, very good movie. You know, his wife cheats on him and he just goes insane. So that's number 18. Coming in at number 17 is Halloween H2O. I will always love this movie. It does have kind of a Scream vibe to it because it is Dimension Films. But this was, you know, Jamie Lee Curtis's first return since, you know, Halloween 2. So it was a very, very fitting movie for that. And I don't know, I really enjoy it. I do like the aspect of her getting chased by her brother. You know, they changed that with 2018 Halloween. So you have both universes pretty much. I still like this one though. Mom, Michael Myers is dead. Coming in at number 16 is Stephen King's The Stand. This is a fantastic mini-series. It's 4 parts. You got the plague, you got the dream, you got the betrayal, and the stand. Very, very awesome. I love how there's a handful of survivors have to go against, you know, the Dark Man after this flu is released upon the world and kills off pretty much 90% of the population. Really, really awesome movie. Very, very long though. Coming in at number 15 is The Silence of the Lambs. Of course I had to include this. It puts the lotion on, it does as told. I think I spit there. Anyway, this is the Criterion collection here of Silence of the Lambs. I don't really need to say much about this, do I? Classic. Number 14 is Wes Craven's The People Under the Stairs. Very different kind of film, even weird in some cases, but very, very fitting and very satisfying. Number 13 is one I had to add in here because I feel like this movie doesn't get enough praise, and that is End of Days with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yes, this is a horror film. This is an action horror film. Basically, Arnold versus the devil. You know, he has to save this girl from the devil, and he fights off the mercenaries of the devil, and very, very cool movie. This is, you know, probably, you know, besides Predator, this is what you call an Arnold Schwarzenegger horror film. Like Stallone, he was in ICU. That's pretty much a horror film there, or a thriller, so to say. But End of Days, awesome. Number 12 is Cape Fear. Now this is a thriller, but it does have horror elements. I mean, what he does to that girl, he bites off a chunk of her cheek, breaks her arm, and then beats the shit out of her. I mean, that's it's crazy. That's a crazy scene. Yeah, I love this. Counselor, could you be there? Could you be there? Counselor. Coming in at number 11 is From Dusk Till Dawn. Love this movie. I've talked a lot about this one. You would never know that this is a vampire film because you don't get to see the vampires until basically the last half of the movie. You know, the Gecko brothers are basically running from the law. They take a hostage. They meet up with Harvey Keitel and his family, take control of their family, and go to Mexico. So show up at this bar called the Titty Twister, of all things, and they have to stay inside there till morning because that's when they're meeting up with their other contacts. But then all hell breaks loose when the people who run the bar are vampires. So very, very cool story. I really love it. Now, I mean, judging by this cover, again, you would never know it's a vampire flick at all. Okay, now we're on to my top 10 90s horror. Number 10 for me is Scream. This reinvented the slasher genre, especially in the 90s. Wes Craven, they almost mock older horror films, and there's certain rules that they follow and certain guidelines, and it was very clever. And the whole opening scene still sticks with me to this day. The fact that, you know, he goes after Drew Barrymore and does what he does to her. She, you know, she's stabbed and she sees her parents and she's trying to talk to him, but she can't. Her parents are right there. She's trying to get to him. That is a very intense scene. Very intense. Coming in at number 9 is Event Horizon. This is more of a sci-fi horror flick directed by Paul Anderson. This is probably my favorite film by him. Even though I do like Mortal Kombat, this is probably the best movie he's done. So it's a messed up movie. It really is, especially Sam Neill in the last part of the film. Man, it's crazy what happens to him. But all right, number 8 is Return of the Living Dead 3. The Return of the Living Dead franchise, to me, is a trilogy. I don't really care for 4 and 5. But this is the one that people rarely talk about. Basically like a zombie love story in a way, like a Romeo and Juliet kind of thing, but mixed with a lot of gore and zombies. You know, she, what's her name, Mindy Clark, basically dies, and her boyfriend brings her back by giving her some of that trioxin stuff, and she comes back to life, but she starts to hunger for brains. And so to ease the pain, she starts to cut herself and inject herself with needles and glass and all sorts of things till she turns into that right there. But that's only to do that. That's only to stop the hunger. So it's very, very cool. I really enjoy that. Number 7 is Stir of Echoes. Well, Stir of Echoes. This is one of my favorite Kevin Bacon films. You know, Kevin Bacon has some good ones out there. This is one that I rarely gets talked about. Very creepy film with excellent music. He did such a good job in this movie. You know, this woman hypnotizes him, opens his mind up to other things, and he sees this dead girl in his apartment, and she's trying to talk to him, like trying to send him a message and telling him to dig and stuff. And so he's trying to listen to this girl, this ghost, and his son kind of has an ability where he can like talk to the ghost and stuff like that. It's a really creepy movie. Really, still to this day, I think it holds up. Coming in at number 6, I'll just hold this up, is The Very First Tremors. The Very First Tremors, there's just something about it. I do like Tremors 2, and I do like Tremors 3. Tremors 3 is PG. And a lot of the effects are pretty bad, but I do like how in Tremors 3 they go back to perfection, which is the town, and they have actually some of the original cast members. But the first Tremors is so good. I mean, you know, you got Kevin Bacon, you got Fred Ward, them together. It's a really good 90s flick. And I definitely recommend that one if you haven't seen it. Alright, the next one... Now, I'm probably just going to hold this up because I don't have the actual case out here. I'll just hold this up. I'm going to say Child's Play 2. In my opinion, the best Child's Play out of all of them. I love, you know, the Child's Play 1 through 3 to me is like a perfect trilogy. Then you got the Chucky movies, you know, Bride of Chucky, Seed of Chucky, Curse of Chucky, which was actually pretty good, and then Cult of Chucky. But Child's Play 2, there's just something about it. I love the characters. I love how Andy comes back. I love the toy factory setting. I love Kyle. Just everything about the movie is great. It's like the perfect sequel too. So number 5 is Child's Play 2. Number 4 is Stephen King's It. I still prefer this over the remake, even though I thought the remake was pretty good. Tim Curry, you can't beat his performance. I'm sorry, you know. This is such a good miniseries and very creepy. I even like part 2. A lot of people crap on part 2. I think this part 2 was way better than It Chapter 2. Okay? It Chapter 2 was so blown out of proportion and just so ridiculous in a lot of the stuff, like the big John Henry statue. It just, that was ridiculous. Yeah, this one is where it's at for me. Number 3, of course, is Misery. Now, this is a Rob Reiner film. This, based on Stephen King, Kathy Bates. This is probably my favorite movie with her. James Caan is great too. Eat it till you choke, you twisted fuck. Like, you cock-a-doodie. I can quote like lines from this from beginning to end. It is great. The performance, how she just goes crazy. She basically saves this guy's life and has him bedridden for weeks and just goes crazy. I love it. Alright, coming in at number 2, getting down to the nitty gritty here, those top 10. Number 2 is a film that still not a lot of people talk about, but I still think a lot of people are familiar with it because there are so many versions of this movie when it comes to the title anyway. And it is the 1990 Tom Savini Night of the Living Dead remake. This is, you know, there's a lot of Night of the Living Dead kind of movies, but this is the one, for me, this is the one that does it all. I think Tom Savini did a great job recreating some of the characters. I mean, you got Tony Todd in here. Patricia Tallman, who plays Barbara, is definitely different than the original. Because in this one, she's more, I want to say, she's a tougher woman. At first, you don't really think that, but then when she gets to the house and she actually gets a gun in her hands, she is like tough as nails. It's crazy. It's almost like she, it's almost like her character changes, and I really like that. And the effects were very good. I think the zombies actually look better here than they did in the original cult classic. I mean, the original one is amazing. That's where it all started. But this one's very, very good. That's number 2 for me. My number 1, those of you who know me, this shouldn't come as a surprise at all. My number 1 favorite 90s horror flick is The Blair Witch Project, hands down. Love this movie. I don't understand the hate for it at all. I know people aren't a fan of found footage. I can understand that, being that found footage has been blown out you know, too much, like with demon films and possession and all sorts of things like that. I think this is the best of them. I think, you know, once this was released, it's like you've seen so many people try to parody this movie. That tells you something. That obviously left an effect. But people who say, oh, it's not scary because it wasn't real, give me a break. Like, this movie must have left a mark on you, if you have to think that way. Because it did it so well, it made you believe it was real, but come on. You know, there's no way they could really, like, get away with that. You know, the families wouldn't like that. If they actually released a real movie about them disappearing, you know, and things going on, that would be clear evidence that would be locked up. They wouldn't actually try to make profit off of that. So, the Blair Witch Project, I think, is so well done. It's very realistic and very, it's very simple. It's a very simple movie. I just really enjoy it. So, that is my #1 pick for 90s horror. So I hope you enjoyed this video, my personal list. So many movies that didn't make my list, you know, like Subspecies, Candyman, you know, Anaconda, Demon Knight. There's so many movies that didn't make my list, but I tried to pick the ones that were my favorites that I would put at the top. So anyway, this is Rob. Stay tuned for more content. Stay tuned for my next top 20 for 2020 video, which is going to be coming up very, very soon. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.